This is Len Holmquist in company with, well, we've replaced Jules Falcone with Rita Justice, the owner-manager of First State Lanes, and this is our championship match in the Richard Donald Furs handicap event, and it's Iris Creasey leading off on 3, and she elected to lead off. She's the top qualifier, and she gets her choice, Rita.
Right. She elects which lane she would like to start on or finish on. In this case, she elected to start on 3, and she will finish on 3.
Iris is from Frederica, Delaware, and she is the top qualifier, and I might make mention right away that she does have a pretty good handicap advantage of 24 pins, and she may need them because Carol is bowling super. Carol Bonvetti.
She has, in all the previous matches, just looked beautiful. She has a nice square game and making some real good, clean shots.
Carol Skip Bonvetti used to bowl just for fun until she ran into a young lady by the name of Sherry Larimore, another top-notch woman bowler in the Wilmington area, and decided to, well, as it would be, go on the local tournament trail, and she's done very well for herself. And I think early in her first match when she defeated Rosemary France, Rita, she looked very relaxed because she's used to bowling on TV. She's bowled on TV 29 several times.
That's true, and I think it's to her advantage by having that previous experience, Len, but even more so, Carol doesn't hold the high averages around the area, but she seems to get that extra adrenaline and concentration in competition, if you notice.
And she has got it going. She opens with a double. The last game, she did not open with a strike, but the previous game against Rosemary France and then against Debbie Cooper, she was on the mark, and she has opened with a double, and that helps to wipe out some of the advantage. She's giving 24 pins away to Iris Creasey. Now, I'll tell you, Rita, neither one of these gals are going to go home empty-handed. First place is the beautiful Norwegian Blue Fox Capelet, valued at $795, plus some prize money. Second place is the natural full-skin luxurious mink hat, valued at $275, plus a little prize money. So neither one's going home empty-handed.
True. Also, Len, I'd like to point out to people, viewing audience, if they will notice, Iris is a very nice natural bowler, has a nice fluid swing, but watch the knees. When I'm instructing, I stress, bend the knees and follow through. Watch her knee bend. She's very stiff, and it really takes away from her game.
Iris is married, has been married only a year, has one small child, Terry. Well, I might amend that. Terry is 15 years old. Iris, of course, married previously, and she has been bowling for about 10 years. Her average is 155. Last year it was higher, about 164, 65. But, of course, we still have a lot of the bowling year in front of us for her to pick up that average.
True. One thing that might be detracting from her accomplishments on the lanes is her time studying in college. You know, she's studying computer engineering.
She has outside interests that include golf, racquetball, hunting, fishing. She's a college student studying, as Rita said, computer engineering. She's been bowling for 10 years. I wonder when she bowls.
Between 12 and 6 in the morning.
Carol Bonvetti is flying. She has just strung 3.
She's really intent. She is thinking of that Norwegian Blue Fox Capelet, not the prize money. I think the girls are really thinking of the furs.
Oh, that's a beautiful, beautiful gift. And Rita, with Mark Lightstein from Richard Donald Furs in Wilmington, will be making the presentation of both furs. And she almost gets 4 in a row. There's the competition,
little
Iris.
high.
George Moore giving some instructions to one of our younger bowlers in the background.
That's Dave Rabian sitting next to George. Also, you know, Mark himself is a avid bowler. The whole family. The mother bowls, he was telling me, been bowling about 15 years in a morning leg. His wife bowls, and he's a 180 average bowler himself.
So he knows not only a little bit about furs, but, well, he probably knows a heck of a lot more about furs than he does about bowling, but he's a good bowler.
Right.
Iris has got to get her act together right now.
Iris just bowled beautifully through the qualifying, and it's a cute story. She bowled Sunday afternoon on a 230 squad, had 665, and wanted to go home, but due to her husband saying, oh, bowl another squad since you're here, she did, and what happened? She took over the lead.
Now, that Sunday that Rita is speaking about was Sunday, December the 14th. This tournament started its qualifying back in mid-November, ran until December the 14th, and Iris took over the lead on the final day, almost the final squad of qualifying. And I know, Rita, that you were pleased with the tournament this year, the entry, the response, and I think that Richard Donalds was also very pleased.
Oh, I think we're all very pleased. We had entries, Len, from New Jersey, Baltimore, Maryland, and Virginia, Pennsylvania, and Delaware. So I think we had real nice representation in 4 states.
And here is Iris Creasey trying to get herself a strike and almost backs into one, but it won't fall for her. And we will be taking
just not firm at the line and not coming through the ball, and it's all because of that knee bend.
Well, we will be breaking in just a moment here. Iris is going to cover the head pin, and we'll be back with more of our championship match in the Richard Donald Furs Handicap Tournament from First 8 Lanes in just a moment. Here in the finals of the Richard Donald Furs Handicap Championship event, it is Iris Creasey and Carol Bonvetti, with Iris Creasey now bowling as we pick up action in the 9th frame. I think we're going down to the finish.
It looks that way. We may have a tie. We'll have to have a roll-off for the tie.
Both ladies have struck in the 8th. Iris now up in the 9th, and remember, it was her choice, being the top qualifier, to finish first or last, and she chose to finish last, and that may have been a good choice.
Well, in this game, you know, Len, there isn't a defense. It's all offense. So she is saying, I'm going to throw it. Come and get me.
We spoke of that. Jules Falcone and I spoke of that in an earlier match, Rita, the fact that there is no defense. The other guy's out there pitching strikes.
That's
you
right.
better have your offense working up to full tilt.
There's no defense. You can't control what the other person is doing, only what your game.
Tough 10-pin. She left it open, and she knew it as soon as she let it go. She stomped the floor. So she has left the door open.
In the back when she was here shooting in the tournament, her games were beautifully and very consistent. She had 193, 194, and an even 200.
Good bowling for a 155 average bowler. Carol Bonvetti, well, she doesn't double. A double would have really put Iris in trouble. But
Right.
now Carol knows that her work is cut out for her. She needs the 4-7.
She has to spare.
That's what Carol is looking at, the 4-7. And she's got it. She covers. And she is going to now finish out. And Iris will know exactly what she has to do. As a matter of fact, Carol could shut her out.
Right. I was just going to say, if Carol strikes on this first ball, she will be sitting in a position for, well, if she strikes on the next 2 balls, she needs the first 2 and the 10th to close the door.
Here's the first one. No, it's light. I'll tell you, she has fought off 3 tough challengers in Rosemary France, Debbie Cooper, Julia Nelson. In each contest, she was spotting pins.
It's been really interesting in all the previous matches, and even this one, because even though this isn't the high-scoring matches that the others were, it's very close and tense. You can feel it with the audience.
The 1-2-4. She's got it.
Nice cover.
She can close out with a 190, and she would force Debbie, or excuse me, Iris to double.
She has to double, right?
Right now, Carol Bonvetti sitting on a 180, and her count ball coming up here in the final frame. The best she can do is a 190. Taking a little bit of extra time. And it is there.
All right.
190. And now the omen is on Iris. She has got to double. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Carol Bonvetti studies the score. Iris, there is Carol.
Remember, she needs the first 2 strikes.
She really didn't hesitate either. She just took off. And she's going to leave the 6-pin, and that will give Carol Bonvetti the championship. She wipes her brow. She had a lot of pins to give away, and that was time for competition.
Right,
She's
and
relieved.
it's beautiful because she came from last place and survived each week up to make it all the way.
Well, just like the pros, came from the bottom.
That's right.
Iris is at 175 with the count ball, but the Norwegian Blue Fox Caplet is going to this lady right here, Carol Skip Bonvetti. Boy, what a nice holiday present.
You're right, just in time for Christmas.
And the second prize of the natural full-skinned luxurious mink hat goes to Iris Creasey, throwing her final ball, and she gets 9.
Right.
And the final count is 190 for Carol Bonvetti, 184 for Iris Creasey.